Hi guys, Squirrel here, and welcome to Bus Driver Simulator 2018. This is my first look video. What the world actually needs is another bus simulator. We all know that OMSI is not under development anymore, and how we all miss OMSI. Nothing has come along to actually replace OMSI. There's no really good bus simulator out there that's fully moddable, modern day graphics, you know, the thing that we're all waiting for. And then along comes Bus Driver Simulator 2018. Made by Kishmish Games, a small indie development studio. I looked up the titles that they've done, and I found that they've done VCB Y City and The Agony, none of which I've heard of. This would appear to be their first foray into simulation gaming, so we'll see. I spent $10 on this, £7.19. It's made with a Unity engine, and yeah, I'll show it to you. But I'll show it to you and you can make your own decisions. I'll give you my thoughts. But briefly, let's have a look what it has. It has one city in it. One realistically modeled city. This is their words, not mine. It has two buses. Here's the buses here. This one, which is the one that you have to start off with. You do a couple of scenarios and then it unlocks this one, which has got two doors on it. I believe these are real buses. I actually haven't looked up if they exist in real life or not. I assume they do. Then down the bottom here are the sceneries, which is incorrectly spelled. We'll just ignore that. Now the game actually says it comes with 10 sceneries. I've not yet unlocked 10. I've got the training mission, and then I've got these two here. These are done with the little white bus, and then you've got these two which are done with the yellow bus. So presumably, if I unlock this one, which is my goal of 800 coins, then presumably it will unlock the other ones, because apparently there's 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive this one, and I'll show you around. We'll talk about the game, talk about the features. You can see for yourself what's in it and make your own mind up. Here we are. We are in our bus. There are passengers ahead. Waiting down the bottom right is a little, very modern looking tablet on a very old Russian bus. But it briefly tells us that we've got to pick up from the... We've got to leave the railway station at 1909. So we've got a couple of minutes yet. If I press the... let's have a look around with the mouse first. There you go. So you can see the state of the graphics. The skybox, the lighting, and so on and so forth. Press the C key, we can go outside and have a look at the bus itself. There you go. So, my initial impressions of this game were... Graphically, it looks a bit like OMSI, bearing in mind that OMSI is, what, a decade old. This is a 2018 game, so I would expect better from the graphics. This kind of looks like out-of-the-box Unity to me. So let's pop back inside. We'll press the C key. Oh yes, you can look around the cab as well and look around the passenger area. Let's jump back. We'll hold on the R key. That starts the bus up. We'll press the L key to put the lights on. We'll press the K key to put the interior cab lights, the interior passenger lights on, and the J key to put the cab light on. There you go. All the lights are done. Now indicators are modeled here, left and right, as you can see on the outside. There's the lighting. Very, very yellow lights, aren't they? Very yellow lights. There's no driver model, as you can tell. And if we jump back in... Now, controller support. Here's where we start to hit some limitations. Supports keyboard and mouse, of course. It apparently supports controllers such as the Xbox controller, but when I plugged mine in, I had some problems. I had some real problems trying to map things and get the axes to work properly. So I then plugged in my G27 wheel, and my G27 isn't supported properly. It's kind of supported, but not really. That's the parking brake being released, by the way. So now we press the F1, we click on the wheel, and we're off. Okay, so every time you start the game, you have to then choose what controller you're using. Press F1, and then say, I want to use the wheel. And you can map the wheel controls in the game. Let's press X to get the parking brake. We'll go outside and I'll open the door. And you'll begin to see the passengers getting on. You'll see what they look like. I mean, the passengers do get on. This is the thing. There are cloned passengers. There you go. There are two ladies in a red top with ginger hair sitting next to each other. Obviously twins. And if we jump inside, you can see... They do adopt very strange poses. You're going to see some really weird graphics. There's some... These passengers can get up to some really odd stuff. Right, we'll close that. We should have left already, so let's press the Z key and release the parking brake. And, no, that key, get going. So, it doesn't support, let's get rid of my, mouse key, there we go. It doesn't support controllers, steering wheel controllers properly. You can get them to work, but for example, G27, G29, whatever, you can map the steering axis, the throttle and the brake, but that's about it. Some of the buttons on my G27 are not mappable for some reason, so I can't use them. There's no force feedback control, so there's no proper wheel integration yet. Now, if you hold a tab key down, this is a feature I do like, it kind of shows you the route that you're taking. So I need to be in this lane, and we're going straight down here. We need to get to driving school and leave the driving school at 1911, so I'm already late. I absolutely have no chance of getting all of my 800 points, because I'm too busy waffling. So top left on the little iPad display is like 160 points. That's pretty much how much money has been taken from the passengers. And if you remember, the objective said collect, I think it was 800. Money is reduced from things like being late, hitting other vehicles, or running red lights. So anything that you do, traffic offences or just being late, in other words, being a bad bus driver, you will lose money. Don't get enough money and it doesn't completely unlock the scenario. Simple as that. So now I'm going to indicate, I'm going to look over. You can see my mirrors are mapped, but they're like 5 FPS mirrors or something. And also the AI vehicles do have this really weird ability to just randomly stop sometimes. So stay away from them is my advice. They're not bad on the whole. They kind of go about their own business. I've seen them completely gridlock at junctions, so it's not perfect. So here we go, driving school. Let's hit the brakes. And put the parking brake on. Open the door. And here's some more weird passengers about to get on. That guy looks like he's not actually going to get on. So people get on and off. Oh, there he is, he's getting on. Which is kind of cool, you know? OMSI did this kind of thing. And they've done it as well. Although you will notice that occasionally, like that one over there, they'll get off the bus and then just stand there and walk into the wall, basically. They don't seem to know where they're supposed to be going. Suspension-wise, let me quickly show you the suspension. In terms of physics, you can see suspension is modelled. If I hit the brakes, and then accelerate, and hit the brakes, accelerate, you know, they've got a rudimentary suspension system, and the bus does feel, the bus feels heavy. I mean, obviously, it's an underpowered Russian old engine, so it doesn't really move very well. The brakes seem to work fairly well, but the acceleration is very poor. The white bus, the first bus, is particularly bad at this kind of thing. It really, really doesn't want to accelerate. But I don't know how deep the physics simulation goes on this thing. It feels rudimentary, but I could be wrong about that. Next stop is Starry Street, 1913 departure. So I've collected 288. I suspect I should have been able to collect, I don't know, 300 and something by now. Look at the car in front, the way they kind of jitter around. Now, on the one hand, I do like the way they're not on rails. There's a little bit of movement there, but I think that movement needs adjusting slightly. This guy just isn't going to let me in that lane, is he now? So, yeah, this is going to be a problem. I think I need to turn left somewhere. Yes, I need to turn left here. So this is going to be fun. I want to get in that lane, but it doesn't look like the AI is going to give way to me at all. So we'll have to get lucky. If this was like Eurotruck or something, I could kind of move over here and they would start to give way. Actually, that car is... I don't know if he gave way on purpose or not, but that black car behind me in the mirror did seem to allow me to move over, so maybe that does actually work. There is a clickable interface. It's pretty basic, but it is... If you press the backspace key, you can kind of move around here and click things, although it's not letting me click things at the moment. There's the door. It's kind of glitching out a little bit. It does work most of the time, but is apparently not working while I'm driving. Maybe it's disabled while I'm driving, I don't know. Right, let's pull into here. Press the brake. Open the door. And there you go. Look at You see the woman just slide herself out of her seat. Absolutely brilliant. But the passengers are kind of interesting. Sometimes they walk in with that swagger animation. Sometimes they have this really, like, zombie-like thing. You have these poses where, like, him here looks like he's about to throw up. A woman back there just kind of crosses her hands in a weird fashion and sits with her legs wide open. And this guy here looks like he's almost smoking a cigarette, but not quite. Oh, press the wrong key again. That's another thing, because I can't map... the, let me talk about the transmission. I couldn't map the clutch control. This guy's going to drive into me. I couldn't map the clutch axis at all. Like, there's no clutch axis. The only clutch operation that seems to be available is a clutch button, which I'm not prepared to do. So I'm driving on automatic. But it does have a manual transmission, but it seems like you just have to hold a button down to operate the clutch and then press the key that you want for the gear that you want, and so on and so forth. It's a bit messy. So I decided to just leave it on automatic for now. So that's something they're going to have to work on, as well as the just the general steering wheel input support. Because, like I say, the force feedback is not controllable right now, so it is quite stiff for me. I had to dial it down in the Logitech controller. Now nobody's getting off here. Getting on here, but maybe somebody's getting off. There you go. Nope. Okay. Keep pressing the X key instead of the C key. The C key is the camera key. The X key puts you into reverse. Hence why I keep going backwards sometimes, because I'm pressing the wrong key. So you've got traffic in this game so far. You've got passengers in this game. You've got traffic violations. Apparently the traffic does get busier at rush hour, so you've got this kind of congestion thing going on. Quite how well that's implemented, I don't know, because you don't really see it build up or go quiet again. And quite frankly, I don't think it can handle a lot of traffic, because I think the AI has not been coded well enough. The problem with, you know, rush hour traffic and stuff, with any game really, any kind of simulated rush hour traffic, is the AI needs to be modeled very well, because if it's not, it'll gridlock. And I've seen it do it. You'll get loads of cars, they'll go to a junction, and all of a sudden it'll just sit there and nobody knows who's going, and it'll just complete gridlock. So I don't, you know, I've seen that, so I think they've got a lot of work to do on the AI. Game apparently supports Oculus Rift, but I've never actually tried it. I would kind of, you know, I was thinking about this. This game, years ago, this game would have been released as a free demo. It would. It would have just come out as a free demo. Say like 10 years ago, it would have been released and they would have been like, hey, here's our free demo of our game. What do you think? Can we have some feedback? Blah, 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 blah. Times have moved on. There's no such thing, really. Well, not much as a free lunch or a free demo. What tends to happen now is they release something as early access. And that's what they've done. They've released this as early access, and the reasons that they give for releasing it as... Aren't people so polite? Let somebody get off before they all get on. Look at that guy there glitching on the tree. See it? Something else to work on. The reasons they cite for releasing it as early access is because they want to get the opinions from the player base on what to work on next and to shape the game's future. However, they estimate the completion of this game, and this is available, if you look at the Steam store page, this is what they say. They estimate the completion of this game to be 6 to 12 months. Now, yeah, I know it's a small studio, so I can see where the game's currently at. I kind of find that a bit optimistic. They're promising to add like a free player mode where you can create your own scenario in the city, create your own routes and stuff. Wow, dude, get up. What are you doing, bro? Oh my god, that's not the road. This is why they have dash cams in Russia. They obviously they're gonna add a free play mode, they say. They want to add another map. They're talking about adding like a European map as well, because this is obviously a Russian city with Russian vehicles. They're talking about adding a European map, like more Western European, I think. They're talking about adding suburban routes, and they're talking about adding more buses. All sounds great. I can't see at the moment things that are missing for me, just thinking about something like OMSI. I can't see a detailed schedule. Like, I can see this schedule on the display here, but I can't see this, like, back on the main screen. I can't choose a route. It doesn't show me what the route is, doesn't give me a breakdown of the times and the stops. I have to come into the game and start playing it, and it just kind of spoon feeds me the next 3 stops in the list, which I don't particularly like. And also, I don't get much feedback on how late I am. Like in OMSI, you can always see if you're going to be a few minutes ahead for the next stop or a bit behind. There's none of that at the moment. Wow, random stops arrows. So I think they need to work on that stuff. There's no kind of damage at the moment either. There's no... I mean, you do get deducted points if you hit another vehicle. But there's no... You know, it's very simple, you know. Have a collision with a vehicle, it will just take some points away from you. That needs more work on it. The controller support needs a lot more work on it. There's no track IR support. I've got my track IR enabled, but it's not picking it up, and there's nothing in the menu, so... Wow, that's a stop? I almost missed that then. So there's no track IR, and the button mapping is limited, and so on and so forth. Is there going to be mod support? It's not mentioned on the Steam page. I know it's built on Unity, which means... just close the door. It's built on Unity, which means it's you know, it's a bit like Mice and Macar. It's moddable in a kind of just replace some models and sounds and things, so you can kind of mod it that way, like a forced modding. But you know, the game like this should really be thinking about modding from day one. It should be built with that in mind. I think the audio in the game is okay, is what I would suggest. Like it's not, it's all right. If you think about something like OMSI's audio, for a bus game, OMSI's audio is fantastic. I mean, there's so many buses you can get on where there's engine and there's like transmission whine, and it just sounds great. I was kind of hoping for that, and I wondered to myself, have they released this game too early? Like, is it just coming to... I know there's no rules about when you should release a game into early access, but I kind of feel that this one is out the door a bit too early. I wondered what their motivation was to release it, like, right now, apart from to get maybe some money to help them carry on developing. I don't know. Don't know what their finances are, but if you release a game too early, you hurt it. You hurt it badly. I've seen it happen a number of times. They should have sorted out controller support for this. Like, people can forgive content not being there in early access. They can forgive the devs saying, we're going to release more maps, we're going to do more routes, we're going to do more of this, that. Oh, let's send the random stops. There you go. Yeah. Collision error. Lost a lot of points. Rip this scenario. People will wait for content. If the devs are saying, oh, we're going to work on a new map, or we're going to work on another bus, you know, here's some pictures of our new bus that we're working on. People will wait for that stuff. What gets very frustrating is, particularly with a simulator, is controller support. Like, if you're going to buy a game, if you're going to help the developers and say, here you go, here's my $10. I know it's not a lot of money, but I'm giving you my $10 because I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. I want to enjoy the game. I want to be able to get in. And even for my measly $10, I want to be able to enjoy what I have. I want to plug my wheel in, plug my track IR in, and drive around in this thing and think, oh, this is quite fun, you know. Be nice to have some more, but, you know, at least what I have, I can enjoy. They didn't do that. They've released it with pretty horrendous controller support, quite frankly. There's no mention of any steering wheels at all, like it doesn't auto-detect anything, so I kind of feel in that sense it was too early. I also think the bus audio should have been worked on. I think they should have made a real effort so that the 2 buses that are in this game look and sound as best as they can get it. I mean, looking around here, the texturing is not bad. It's very gritty. It's not a low-resolution texture, which is good. But, I don't know, the outside of the bus is... I mean, there's no paint schemes, are there? There's just nothing. It's just yellow. It's like a school bus. and not a particularly well done one. It's very, very grimy. I mean, possibly this is what it looks like in real life. I don't know, but I can't change the bus number. You know, the display at the top here, there's no wind-up support. Yeah, there's just closed boxes. I can't change the destination. I can't change the number. I can't do any of that stuff. So it's pretty limited, like what is here. And I think they could have built that before they released it. They could have put more into what they have. And then, because if you look at the Steam comments page, people are saying, oh, you know, plug my G29 in, it wouldn't work. What a lot of rubbish. Plug my Xbox controller in, couldn't get it to work. What a lot of rubbish. And they don't need that. Like, they could easily avoid that stuff with just spending, you know, a few more weeks working on just controller support, maybe just sprucing up the audio a bit, and then releasing the game. And they would have got a much better reception. But as it stands, people are kind of commenting on it in mostly positive way, from what I can see from the Steam reviews. But I just don't know. I kind of feel like it should have been a lot more polished before they released it. But that's, you know, that's just my thoughts on it. I think people are getting, you know, when I played this, I streamed this game, and straight away, the thing that people picked up on the graphics, straight away. The expectation these days for graphics is very high. And indie developers have got a real problem on their hands because they can't deliver a AAA looking blockbuster game. There's the swagger. Yes, love, very classy. They just don't have the resources to do that. But people's expectation bar for graphics is very high now. Gone are the days when, you know, gameplay was king. Nowadays, you're judged immediately on the graphics. Like, what does it look like? Does it look 2018 kind of high-end, or does it just look like it was built from 5 years ago? If it's the latter, it must be rubbish. Let's forget the gameplay. It looks rubbish. That's kind of the thinking that people have now. Where are we parking? Are we parking here? I presume it's here. Okay, we'll hit the brake. So, yeah, anyway, I don't think I've got enough money for that one. 856. Oh, yes, I did. Off you go, one-stop drunken woman. So, if we wait here, it should just end in a second. That's the theory. You have successfully collected enough amount of money. Google Translate. Continue. So now, hopefully, it should have finished that one. There you go. Well, now we've done that one. So now we've unlocked residential quarters, which is, I mean, if you look at the mapping for a small team, it's not bad. And if this is their first ever simulator title, then it's not bad. You know, it's a good effort out the door. Should have been a bit more polished, but that remains to be seen. I don't know. If this is their first simulator title, they don't really have the experience, do they? So it kind of remains to be seen how this game is going to turn out. I don't think it's going to be the next big thing in the bus simulator world, though. I hope they've thought about the modding side of it. I hope they've thought about how they're going to allow third-party people to make maps, to make cities, to add different voices, to add different passengers, to add different buses. That's what I hope they've done. Because without that, I think this is a bus sim with a fairly short future. But I hope not. That's my first look video of Bus Driver Simulator 2018. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Take care, guys. Happy bussing.